Have you ever noticed how some long-married women grow more distant, more irritated, even quietly heartbroken as the years go by? That glow in their eyes, the one that once lit up for their husbands, fades, and it's not because of age, it's because of something deeper. You might brush it off as typical old couple stuff, but the truth is far more complicated. Behind the tired sighs, the cold silences during car rides, or the sarcastic comments at dinner, lie years, sometimes entire decades, of unmet needs, buried emotions, and growing emotional distance. This video isn't about placing blame. It's not about turning husbands into villains or painting wives as martyrs. It's about understanding a very real pattern that plays out in countless marriages over time. Because here's the heartbreaking reality. Most men never even see it coming. One day they look over and wonder, when did she become so cold, so withdrawn? And the answer isn't overnight. It's been building slowly, brick by brick, moment by moment, over years of missed opportunities and unspoken feelings. Whether you're a husband seeing the signs, a wife feeling unseen, or someone trying to understand the emotional shifts in long-term relationships, stay with us. What you'll hear today might just be the key to healing years of disconnection or avoiding it altogether. Let's explore 5 powerful, often surprising reasons why many older women emotionally withdraw from their husbands, and more importantly, what can still be done about it. Reason 1. Emotional neglect, the quietest heartbreak. It doesn't take cruelty, betrayal, or absence for a woman to feel alone. Sometimes all it takes is being emotionally unseen. In the early years of marriage, many men are attentive. They listen, they ask questions, they genuinely show care. But as life speeds up, kids, careers, responsibilities, many husbands shift into what we might call survival mode. They stop checking in. They stop noticing. They stop feeling. They assume that silence means everything's okay. But silence often means she's stopped trying to be heard. Years pass. Her emotional tank slowly runs dry. And when the house finally quiets down, when the kids are grown and retirement brings time to reflect, she starts to feel the full weight of years spent giving without feeling emotionally received. One woman, Linda, age 72, said it best. He's a good man. He never cheated, never hit me, but he hasn't asked how I feel since 1994. That is emotional neglect. It's not loud, but it's devastating. The good news? It's reversible, not through grand romantic gestures, but through small, meaningful efforts. A question, a touch, a real conversation. When a woman says, "You don't see me anymore," it's not a complaint. It's a plea for reconnection. Reason 2, years of carrying the load alone. Resentment isn't always loud. Often, it's the quiet ache of feeling like you've carried the weight of a household alone. In many long marriages, especially those that began in earlier generations, roles were divided in unspoken ways. He worked, she did everything else. Cooking, cleaning, raising kids, organizing holidays, managing doctor appointments, and aging parents. Even when women worked full-time, many still bore the lion's share of domestic responsibility. After decades, that imbalance adds up, and when life slows down, she finally has space to notice just how heavy her load was, and how little of it was ever acknowledged. Karen, 68, once said, "I don't hate him because he's a bad man. I hate how invisible I felt every time there was work to be done." That's not bitterness. That's exhaustion without appreciation. When someone feels unseen for too long, love becomes transactional. Every small task, like making dinner or cleaning up, becomes another reminder of the imbalance, and the silence becomes sharp. Sarcasm replaces softness. But here's what matters. Most men don't realize it. They weren't trying to neglect their wives. They simply never questioned the old patterns. Change doesn't require shame. It starts with recognition. A simple, sincere, thank you for all you've done can begin to heal years of emotional fatigue. Reason 3. Emotional disconnection feels like a betrayal. One of the hardest truths many older women face is this. They don't feel emotionally close to the man they married. And maybe, deep down, they never really did. In the early years, life is busy. Raising kids, working, building a home. There's little time to pause and notice the emotional gaps. But when retirement comes and the noise fades, all that's left is two people and the space between them. Many women crave more than a companion in old age. They want deep connection. They want to talk, to laugh, to be truly heard. But instead, they sit across from someone who grunts at the news, nods through meals, and responds with one-word answers. Alice, 73, said something that's stayed with me. I could cry into my soup, and he wouldn't even look up. This is the tragedy of emotional neglect. It's not what's said, it's what's never said. It's not about conflict, it's about connection. Without that, a marriage becomes quiet and lonely. But even this disconnection can be healed. All it takes is intention, curiosity, a willingness to say, tell me how you're really feeling, to make her feel seen, not just as your wife, but as a person who still matters deeply. Reason 4. Years of sacrifice. Without recognition, what hurts more than being tired is feeling like your sacrifices went unnoticed. Many women spent their lives keeping their families afloat, supporting careers, raising children, managing homes, all while putting their own dreams on hold. And they did it with love. But when life quiets down and no one says thank you, something shifts. It's not anger. It's sadness. A deep yearning to feel like all that effort meant something. Linda, 68, told me, he never asked what I wanted. He just assumed I'd keep everything running. Now I sit across from him at dinner, and he doesn't even ask how my day was. I feel invisible. That word, invisible, is repeated by far too many women. It's not about needing praise. It's about being acknowledged. This isn't hard to fix. A sincere, I see how much you've done for this family, can open doors that have been closed for years. Emotional appreciation doesn't need to be grand. It needs to be real. Reason 5. She's grown, but the relationship hasn't. Here's something many men don't expect. In her later years, a woman may finally realize she doesn't want to settle anymore. After decades of caring for others, she's ready to care for herself. She wants emotional warmth, presence, real companionship. And if she looks across the room and doesn't see that from her husband, something deep inside her begins to stir. She's not asking for perfection. She's asking for presence, for curiosity, for someone to look at her like she still matters. Teresa, married for 45 years, once said, he's never yelled, never cheated, but I feel utterly alone. That's the ache of emotional absence. And it doesn't come from malice. It often comes from habit, generational silence, a culture that never taught men how to be emotionally expressive. But it's not too late. Connection can be rebuilt. It begins with one question. Tell me what you need. I'm here to listen. She wants to feel chosen, not out of duty, but out of love. And when she feels that, even the coldest silence can start to thaw. Final thoughts. If you're a husband watching this, you're not being blamed. You're being invited to reconnect. And if you're a woman who sees herself in these words, know that your feelings are real and valid. The truth is, love after 60 isn't about perfection. It's about presence. It's the little things, listening, noticing, appreciating, that bring hearts back together. If this video resonated with you, please like, comment, and share it with someone who might need it. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you won't miss future videos that inspire and heal. Thank you for being here. We'll see you in the next one.